The Matrix is not something that we should hate, something that we should despise, something that we should have a negative connotation about. Because oftentimes we do. Oftentimes, when we hear of the Matrix or we think of the Matrix, we think of overworking, rat race, this world, this fake, disgusting, lame world that we're doing is living to work, pay bills, drive back and forth from work, eat quick little meals, scroll on our phones, right when we do have that little time. I feel like we don't really see and perceive the Matrix for how we really supposed to see it, right? And how we really supposed to learn from it. Because the Matrix, in my opinion, is something very beautiful, something very well orchestrated, and something that's meant to teach us and show us what's really important and what we should value and how to go against the grain and how to go against everything that's pressed in front of us and put in front of us and popularized and things that are given more value. There's a lot of things in our society and in our lives that are given this false value, this false perception of value, and it's we've been trained to think that things that are really valuable aren't valuable, and the things that aren't valuable are valuable, right? So, for example, material wealth, or just wealth, in my opinion, true wealth is health. Health is the true wealth. But in our day and age, the society that we live in today, we've been trained to believe that wealth is financial, mass amounts of financial gains, and having a lot of material things, having a lot of cars, clothes, shoes, bags, things like this, things that disappear, things that fade, not the eternal things, health, vitality, mobility, emotional health, love, joy, right? These things that are intangible, we can't touch them, but we can feel them. That's the true wealth, what we can feel, not what we can touch, not always what we can see. The Matrix is our teacher, if I'm being completely honest. I know it's a really different perspective and it's a completely different connotation than what, we most of us have and most of us have been programmed to perceive it as. But the Matrix shows us what is really important in life. So there's a lot of things that the Matrix shows us, but there's a few things that I feel like we get taught to prioritize. Or if we take a step back and we look at the Matrix and we look at the world, we can see what we need to prioritize based off of what is being prioritized and what is being projected and shown to us day in and day out. So let me just start with something that we all use, or most of us use. A lot of people in Western society and, first world countries, stuff like that. Social media. Social media is not bad or good. Inherently, it is what it is, right? It just is. And how we use it determines whether it's going to affect us in a bad way or a good way, if you want to put a label on it. But social media and the doom scrolling and the overconsumption of TikTok, Instagram, always going to different apps, get on Snapchat, go to Instagram, go to Twitter, go to TikTok, that cycle. Being in that cycle, because I feel like we all have that certain point where we get in that, it shows us that social media, this stuff is really not that important. And it shows us, man, what's really important is having my time. I feel like when I'm on social media, what I notice is I'll be looking at the time a lot. I look at the time at the top left-hand corner of my phone. I got an iPhone, so I don't know what other where the time is for everybody else's phone, but I find myself looking at that a lot. But I also find myself consciously, I know I'm wasting my time when I am doom scrolling sometimes, when I am just scrolling, and I'm watching the time go by, but I'm also thinking about, I want to do this and this, or I got to do this, I got to do my push-ups, I got to go here, I got to go there, but I still stay sometimes. And what that has shown me is taking a break and taking time away and actually being off of my phone. I get a lot more done in way less amount of time, and I'm way more present because I'm not focused on time. I'm not so aware of what time it is at every single moment. So I may lay down and meditate for 20 minutes, but it feels like an hour or 3. Or I may do some exercises, or I may just sit down and breathe or do some stretching. Completely get lost in the moment, completely forget about some other stuff that I have going on, which is what I be wanting. That's that real presence, that true presence, that complete presence is what I really enjoy, and what makes my days feel full, and they feel complete, and they feel like, yes, as compared to when I'm on my phone a lot and I'm on a lot of screen time. I'm looking at the time pass by and I see myself wasting time. So over consuming social media shows me how to consume less. And seeing other people doing it too, it's like, man, I do not want to be like these guys. Some people are really, really, really crazy addicted and have zero awareness at all. And they can't stop. They need it. I'm not like that. I feel like I've almost been there, but not to the point where that's all I'm doing and I'm losing social interaction and I don't know how to talk to people. But I feel like that is what's happening with a lot of people, a lot of kids these days. The Matrix, it shows us how to appreciate the polarity of life and appreciate and be thankful for experiences that we don't want. So what I mean by that is when something bad happens, like getting in a car accident. Let me just use my example. I've rear-ended people. That's the only time I've been in car accidents, is rear-ending people when I'm not paying attention. And going through that, when it happens, I'm like, dang, I'm not feeling good. I know the insurance about to go up, this and that. My parents gonna be feeling some type of way, and I don't want to go through that. But after going through that experience, excuse me, I know now I gotta lock in more. I gotta lock in extra. I do need to be aware. I don't need to be on my phone, because one time I did it, I was on my phone. One time I did it, I was driving home from class and I actually started dozing and falling asleep. And at the end of the day, I wasn't paying attention and it was on me. But there were things that I could have done differently to avoid those, like not being on my phone while I was driving, paying attention to the road, being present, listening to the music, just enjoying. And also, I could have got my full night's sleep, because that day that I was driving back from class, I stayed up super late, way, way, way too late. I got a couple hours of sleep. Or I could have just took a nap before I went back to the crib. But at the end of the day, those experiences, that example, I feel like that example, I don't know if that's the best example, but let me try it. Let me see. We learn what we want through experiencing what we don't like, okay? So, relationships, yes, this is a better example. Relationships. We go through toxic relationships, or we go through relationships with when we're unhealed and the other person is unhealed and they got a lot of fear and they got a lot of traumas that they haven't let go of. So We experience a lot of projection. We experience a lot of negative emotions on their part and our part. We don't always get treated the best. But we don't always get showed that love and that affection, that attention that we need. We don't always get our standards met. We don't always have our boundaries respected. But what all of this does teach us is the opposite. We know by getting our boundaries disrespected, we know, okay, I need to set up stronger boundaries, and I know what my boundaries are now. If I'm not getting the love that I need, I know I need this type of love, I need this amount of love, and I'm not gonna settle for anything less than that, anything less than what I know that I need. If I'm getting stuff projected onto me, I'm gonna make sure that I heal my wounds and the things that I've been through, so that I make sure that I'm never projecting onto my partner, and they can give that example. If they're not there at that level, they can provide that example to where they can be like, oh, okay, I'm the one initiating a lot of the conflict and this and that. Let me take a step back and, hey, why am I doing this? Why am I projecting? Why are the fights one-sided, or why are the misunderstandings always started with me? We learn how to take accountability from going time without not taking accountability and blaming others. There's never anybody else to blame but ourselves. But a lot of times we have to get to that point where we know and we understand that and we accept that. So relationships is just one example, but we learn what we want in life from experiencing the things that we don't like. I feel like another good practice for us to do is saying thank you when we do have these experiences that we really don't like. Experiences when things seem bad, when life seems to not go our way, we gotta say thank you. We gotta know that better things are coming. Because for me personally, if I look back on my life and I reflect on everything that I've been through, every single thing that I've gone through is turned out smooth. There's been challenges, there's been trials, but everything I go through, I always overcome, and I always be stronger, and I always learn something. I gain more resilience, I gain more clarity, I gain more accountability and acceptance for myself. I accept myself when I do make mistakes, when I do go through challenges, when I do give up on something. I learn how to persist, and I learn how to stick with things. I learn how to not repeat that same thing, but also not repeat that same reaction to what I went through, because everything I go through, whether it's good or bad, it's up to me and how I perceive it. And everything in my life, I cannot say nothing has torn me down. Nothing has just destroyed me and just been something horrible for me, just been something that's I've never been able to come back from. There's never been an experience where I've been through it and it didn't teach me a lesson. Every single thing that I've been through, I can take a lesson from it if I really sit and reflect and take accountability and just be truthful with myself and be real. I can take a lesson from every single thing, and we all can, but a lot of us, we don't, and we reject our experiences, and we get traumatized, and we hold on to our negative emotions and our negative perceptions about our experiences. So instead of being thankful for them and transmuting the negative into a positive for ourselves and for our family and for people around us, we hold on to it and we let it affect us, and we let that experience, that person, that whatever, have power over us and keep us locked in and keep us stuck in that vibration and in that state that we felt when we went through that experience. But if we practice saying thank you, and we practice being grateful for every single thing that comes up, we'll begin to change our neural pathways, and we'll begin to value and appreciate negative experiences when they come, because we know what's coming after, and we know how it's going to change us, and we know what is coming to do for us and with us and through us. There's a quote, things don't happen to us, they happen for us. And that's very, very true. But it's all about perception and how you see it. Are things happening to you in life, or are they happening for you? Are the struggles and challenges happening to you, or are they happening for you? We used to do some pretty strenuous exercises and sprints and stuff back in the days when I used to play football. We was little kids though. We were in like 8th grade and 7th grade, and we had a pretty serious strength and conditioning coach. And looking back, we did a lot of knuckle push-ups. We did knuckle push-ups on the concrete. We did a lot of sprints, a lot of 100s, a lot of down and backs. And going through it, it was hell. We was dying. People was throwing up. I felt like I was about to pass out a lot of the times. And sometimes, screen would go black. Your eyes, like your eyes are open, but I don't know, because of dehydration, because of whatever, things would start to fade out and I can't even see no more, right? But looking back, going through that, it's like, dude, we went through the fire and we made it. And we still showed up, and we was little kids and we were tired and we were drained after, but we kept showing up. We kept going through it, and it fortified our minds and it made us stronger. Even if we're not playing football, still now going through those experiences, going through those tough things, I can go through something crazy now and be like, yo, this is nothing. We used to be doing this. We used to run like this when we was kids. Jiu-jitsu, getting choked out, getting your arm bent and contorted in different ways, your ankle locks, different injuries, suffering different injuries, having too much pride from not tapping, having too much pride showed me how to be humble. Show me that, okay, I'm not a bitch if I tap. I'm not a little hoe if I tap. I'm preserving myself. I'm preserving my body so I can continue to train and do what I love to do. But when we have these things, these perceptions, sometimes they can hinder us and they can hold us back and they can hurt us in ways that we don't really see in the moment or we don't really be aware of. Wrestling practice. Wrestlers are some of the hardest dudes, hardest souls, hardest people. I know women, men, everybody wrestles, right? Yo, wrestlers are different. And wrestlers can do anything. They can be MMA fighters, they can be Marines, they can be whatever. They can be whatever. Because of all the fire, all the days on the mats, all the practices, the cutting weight, the fasting, going after the whistle and going and going and going and going. Practice being over, coach tell you one more round. After that, one more round. After that, one more round. After that, one more round. Pushing yourself. That extreme pushing yourself and not giving up and fighting, and that pain and that suffering that really changes the neuroplasticity in your mind and makes us stronger. It forces us to be stronger because we have nowhere to go. We can't run, we can't hide, we can't escape. But that's the value and that's the power of pushing ourselves and doing hard things and doing things that are strenuous and deadly and dangerous and things that we feel like, damn, we getting pushed to the brink of death. It's just like Saiyans. I don't know if y'all have seen Dragon Ball Z. It's this show, it's this anime where the Saiyans, this race of characters in the show, whenever they got put to the brink of death, whenever they got beat up so bad that they almost died, they got stronger. They got stronger. They healed and they got stronger. But not when they got beat up halfway. Only when they got beat up to the brink of death, when they almost died, that's when they get stronger. And that was just a little metaphor for life, right? And that little quote, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. These experiences that we go through, that's what they're here for. They're here to help us grow and push us, make us better, make us stronger, make us more resilient, make us more powerful, make us more self-reliant in a positive way. Make us trust in ourselves more and believe in ourselves and know, hey, I can look back. I've been through this, poverty, sickness, excuse me, everything. It don't matter. I can make it. So whatever is coming my way, I'm grateful. I'm ready for it because I'm about to handle it. Yo, one of my buddies, he about to be an officer in the military. I asked him if he was nervous, how he feeling. He said, "Man, I was built for this shit. I was built for this." And that is the type of energy we gotta have every day, no matter what we go through, with all of our challenges, with anything that comes up. You have to know that you built for this. And that's the only reason we trip and we be so stressed out and anxious and worried and trying to avoid these tough things, because we don't believe that we built for it. We don't believe that we can go through it and overcome it and handle it and eat it up and let it fuel us and make us stronger. So, I want to just go over a few things that the Matrix teaches us. Because the Matrix teaches us a lot of things that we can go from, and it shows us the importance of a lot of things. So, let me just go down the list. Discipline and self-love. Because a lot of times in our society today, if you look around, a lot of people are very undisciplined. A lot of people don't love themselves for real. They don't. And this society, if you just follow the grain and follow everybody else, you will understand that and you'll experience that. You won't be loving yourself and you won't be expressing discipline, because our world trains us for instant gratification and to do what makes us happy and to do what makes us feel good. But if you know the reality of life, you understand that what makes us feel good is not what's going to bring us that quality life and the life that we want. It's consistently showing up and doing those things that don't make us feel good until they do make us feel good, until we do have that positive perception about it. So delaying gratification, just like I said, instant gratification, that's what our world is trained up. That's what our world is trying to gear us towards and keep us locked in on instant gratification. Social media, just like I talked about earlier, we have this access to instantly just scroll, tap this, tap that. You can get on porn, you can get on anything, you can watch anything immediately. So, if you take a step back, you can see the Matrix is teaching us, hey, we got to delay gratification. If I want to live how I want to live and not be stuck like most other people, I got to delay it. Focus. Our attention and our focus has been hijacked. Social media, that's the easiest and I feel like most prevalent example today. TV, news. What do we focus on? Are we focused on the troubles in the world and the fear and the negativity, or are we focused on the positivity? Are we focusing on what we can be grateful for in our lives, what we have in front of us, what we have right in front of us, what's in front of you? What is right in front of you that you not even thanking God for, not even being grateful for, not even registering, not even acknowledging, because you are so focused on the negative, so focused on what's going on in the world and being so fearful and so worried. Focus is something that if we take a step back, we can see this Matrix is teaching us that our focus is important. Our focus is one of the only things that we have. Family. Society trains us out here to get out of the house at 18. Parents kick us out even earlier than that sometimes. And now we got to go pay some rent while our parents paying for their mortgage, while our brother over here paying his rent. We can all be working together, paying one payment, stacking our bread. We can even come together, be pooling our money together, because we're not splitting all this rent and having to work extra just to cover this rent and our own expenses and this and that. We can be working together, working as a family unit. That's why the divorce rates are so high. And the main thing that causes divorce is financial problems, financial troubles. And that ties back to not believing in ourselves and not believing that we can handle the debt that we have in front of us, not believing that we can handle the financial struggles and the rough times that are temporary. We forget that they're temporary, and we end up believing that there's no end. And by believing that there's no end, we create no end. We see no end in the troubles that we're going through, in the financial struggles. We see no end to the debt because of our perception. Laughter. We deal with a lot of mental health issues as a collective. And when you are anxious, when you are depressed, a lot of times you're not really laughing as much as somebody who is joyous. And laughter is healing. So if you take a step back, One thing that is very, very important is laughter, right? Very simple, but it's so profound. Just look at babies. They be laughing at everything. They be laughing at lame stuff to us, but it's wholesome and it's beautiful. Working smarter, learning from overworking. That's what season I'm in right now. I work every day, 7 days a week. Am I bitter? Am I stressed? Am I seeing life in a negative way? Am I hating life? No. Have I had that perception? Yes. Have I been there? Yes. Am I right now? No. Because I know how to see life, and I know that this is temporary and it's getting me to where I want to be. I'm doing the uncomfortable right now so I can be comfortable. I'm adapting. I'm adapted to this. So just imagine when I don't have to work like this, or when I choose to do something different and pivot. Let's say I started my own business for real and really lock in. I'll know I can work and show up for myself every day because I showed up for other people's businesses every single day. And the only person who forced me to do it was me. The only person who made that choice was me. Momentum through consistency is something else this matrix shows us the importance of. If you look around, obese people, for example, they have momentum with being obese and being fat. Their momentum is constantly eating multiple times a day, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, snacking. They're building that momentum, and that's why they look the way they look, and they feel the way they feel. And it's the same for people who look well and look good and look healthy and got muscles and look strong. They're building that momentum by feeding themselves, fueling their vessels, taking care of themselves, being active, moving, eating once a day or twice, eating quality whole foods. Momentum through consistency is something that this matrix teaches us that is very, very important if we do want to live how we want to live, how we truly, truly want to live. Listening to inner guidance versus outer guidance. For example, outer guidance can be the news, media. We know that there's agendas behind all of these and they're all controlled, right? Our inner guidance is not controlled. Our inner guidance is the source. Our inner guidance is God is within us. That's our inner guidance. And if we just be still and take time, we can listen and we can hear and receive the messages that our inner guidance has for us. So that can tie into another thing, which is slowing down and rest instead of moving so fast paced and always consuming, never giving your time that rest. Like our digestion. We need digestive rest in order to, in order to heal. And in order for our body to focus on other things apart from digestion, we need to take a break from it. That's why we do when we sleep, right? Our body's repairing itself. It's healing. It's focusing energy on other parts of our body that need repair, that need that care. But if we're always consuming and digesting, or always looking at social media, we're always feeding our mind, feeding our eyes, feeding our mouth with poison and toxic stuff, we'll never, ever have proper optimal digestion. Even when good experiences and good food comes our way, our body is not capable. Our stomach lining, our digestive system is not where it needs to be in order to digest what we were meant to digest from experiences or from the food that we eat. Not being a follower, being a leader, being an innovator. That's something my dad always told me. Be a leader, man. Don't be a follower. Be a leader, man. I didn't really get it when I was young, but now, yeah, I do. And I see how I influence people and how, like, a lot of influence that I have, for sure. And it's very powerful because in this world we get trained just to follow. A few years ago, pandemic, follow. Food pyramid, for example, that we used to have back in school back in the days. Follow. You got to eat this, dairy, cheese, this, everything on your plate. Follow. Instead of being an innovator, instead of, experimenting for ourselves, instead of trying to figure things out for ourselves, we just eat things up and we're used to typing something into Google. All right, first thing we see, yeah, that's our answer. That's what we believe. We just take it. Instead of trying to do a little research, trying to dig, trying to compare with other sources, we're used to just taking the first thing and following and going along with what we see. Instead of pausing and being like, wait, hold up, let me see if there's a different way. Let me see if there's a different angle I can look at this. So That's another thing the Matrix teaches us, the importance of being a leader and not just a follower, because following just leads to destruction, period. Especially if you're just following this world these days. The importance of time, doing our best to stay outside of time and be present. When you stay outside of time, that's when you are really, really, really present. When you focus on time, you can be present to a certain extent when you focus on time, but I don't think you can be to 1 billion%. That's my opinion, though. I'm not saying that's fact. It's just my opinion. When we focus on time, that's also taking our focus, it's taking our attention away from what we got going on right in front of us and what we're doing. But if we're not thinking about time, it's like rolling, which is, what we call training jujitsu, right? A lot of times we train for like 5-minute rounds, sometimes 10-minute rounds. And looking at the clock takes your focus away from what's going on right in front of you. This dude trying to choke you out. This dude is trying to submit you. He's trying to get a dominant position on you. And you looking at the clock and focusing on the clock is taken away from you being present. You being able to counter. You being able to do what you need to do and react and be ready for what your opponent is trying to do to you and how he's trying to control your body and move your body and manipulate your body. You got to stay focused on what's in front of you, what's going on at hand, the body that's in front of you and your body, not the clock. Not the clock. But we're ran by time in society. It's always, 9 to 5, we got to wake up, we got to go to work, we got to beat the traffic, so we got to leave at this time so we can get there at this time. We got to take lunch at this time, so, we're going to start winding down, we're going to start getting prepared to take lunch, and then we got to come back at this time sharp, especially for the people who have crazy, serious bosses who really be on their ass, and they have no inch of opportunity to be late at all because they got to be so focused on time, and their bosses, they really are very strict about being punctual, and they're so hyper focused on time. So that's another thing that this matrix shows us is the importance of time and just having the correct relationship with it, not being so consumed by it and controlled by it, but being outside of it and making sure you're being as present as possible in every moment. Learning real things, quality things, instead of filling our minds with zero substance. Tying back to the doom scrolling. A lot of times we doom scroll and people can do that for hours and you don't remember anything. Once you turn your phone off, you don't remember any. You probably look at 100 videos and you can't even remember the first 10 after being on it for so long because it's not value, it's not substantial. It has no value, it has no substance. You're not taking the time to write anything down that you're looking at. You just scrolling, swiping. But you can listen to a podcast, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour, be pausing it in between, being intentional, writing notes, taking notes, changing it back, rewinding it, and listening to it again multiple times over and over and over and over until you receive what the message is being, or receive the message that is being presented to you. Learning real things. We learned a lot of fake things in school. And now we have this internet at our hands. We have this computer at our hands all day. And a lot of us, we don't be learning nothing. I'm a part of that. I'm working on breaking out of that and focusing on learning things that are valuable to me and things that are going to help me get to where I want to be. But it takes intentionality. It takes focus. It takes discipline. Things I've been listing out. Things that this matrix is showing us is really valuable. Kids always learn. They always be doing stuff. When we was kids, we was always learning. We weren't just stagnant. I mean, I didn't have the iPad and stuff like that when I was a kid, so I was always moving around, playing outside, playing with toys, trying to put the little star in the little star thing, the shapes. We're learning. That's what we're wired for, to constantly learn and grow and evolve. So this matrix is something we gotta appreciate and be thankful for. The matrix is not something negative. It's not something that we should hate and be disgusted by and dread waking up every day. We should be grateful to be a part of this and be learning from this system. And we should be grateful because, hey, we're in control. We got the power. You got the power. I got the power. I'm not about to let them run me and have me broke and working like a slave all my whole life. No, I'm seeing how people are living. I'm seeing how my family members are living. I'm seeing how people are unhealthy. Let me do the opposite. I want to be healthy. I want to have my freedom. I don't want to have to go to a job until I'm 65. I want to be creative. I want to create something. I want to serve people. I want to help people. I want to help myself. I want to teach people. Period. How do you want to see this matrix? How do you perceive the matrix?